to I Got My Miracle. I'm here with my brother Coleman. So grateful you're here, man.
Honored to be here, John. Thank you.
Thank you. And each week at Rhythmia, we do a live stream called I Got My Miracle, which really highlights one person to step forth from the field of miracles that were received this week and kind of share, their story. And I enjoyed so much this week with Coleman, and I'm excited to share his story with you. So thanks for joining us. And brother, thank you.
Happy to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
My pleasure. So, I wanted to kind of get right into it.
Please.
What was life? I mean, your life was pretty great before.
I love my life.
Right? So life was good. What called you here? And tell me the difference between Saturday or Sunday when you arrived last week and today.
Okay. Yes. I've worked with medicines for about 5 years now. I was introduced by my mother, who was a healer. She was the most spiritual person I know. She was very sick at a young age and decided that she did not want modern medicine. She wanted other types of medicine. Okay. So she introduced me at a young age. And after losing her, I went on a spiritual journey of healing and decided that I just wanted to try as many types of medicines that I could that would help me become the best version of myself. So I wanted to sit with grandmother ayahuasca for about 4 years and just wasn't in the right space to get here, and then was sponsored to come.
Okay. So first of all, sorry about the loss of your mother. How long ago did she pass away?
She passed when I was 13.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So 17 years.
And she introduced you to plant medicine.
Yeah. So in a sense of I got to see her experience plant medicine as part of her healing. I didn't take into medicine at that young of an age.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then losing her sent you on a journey.
Yes. I went from being a child of light and of love and of honesty. And then I went down a very dark path of being angry, becoming a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, became a version of myself that my inner child no longer recognized. And it took me till I was about 25 and hitting rock bottom to start a journey of finding my belief in a higher power, healing, working on myself, and becoming someone that my inner child is so proud of and loves. And medicine has been a huge part of that journey and helping me become the man that I am today.
Wow. Yeah. And so you were on this path for a long time. Mm-hmm. You had tried other plant medicines, but hadn't worked with ayahuasca.
Exactly. Yes.
What did you work with before?
Primarily psilocybin.
Okay.
Mushrooms have been my jam.
Beautiful allies for sure.
100%.
And so Arrhythmia came up in your awareness.
Yes.
Someone sponsored you to come.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. Someone that just had come here 3 or 4 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they said, you got to come.
Yeah. Client of mine, father figure, wonderful man. And I've been coaching him for a while and thought, hey, you should work with some of these plant medicines. Looked into it, came, got his miracle, and was like, you're going. He's like, and you're going now.
And so what did you come here with as an intention? What did you want to work on?
Yeah.
What was different before that's different now?
For sure. So though I've gone through the spiritual journey and I've healed a lot, there's always more healing to be done, right?
Sure.
We continue to get re-hurt and need to continue to learn lessons. So I wanted deeper healing. I came wanting to expand my heart and just get a deeper healing in my heart. I went through a divorce last year that was really hard. Part of my hitting rock bottom was hurting a woman that I loved and that did not deserve it. And I wanted to heal from that. And I wanted to connect with my mom very, very badly. And knew that, you see the miracles of people getting to, whether it be in a vision or a lucid dream, speak with loved ones, feel their energy. And though I connect with her in meditation and through breath work, I selfishly wanted a vision of like, let me talk to my mom like this. Let me sit down with my mom and feel her energy and speak with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for you this week, tell me what parts of those were the miracle?
I lost track of how many miracles I had here, to be entirely honest. I got both of those. Second ceremony, day 2, I received a deep, deep, profound healing of my heart at another level and thought, I'm done. Cool. I'll just coast the rest of the way. And then Wednesday being the third day being the divine feminine day when I really want to connect with my mom, I did. I received a beautiful blessing from the shaman who just embodied motherly energy. It was perfect. She gave me a beautiful blessing. I went and laid down, got into a meditative state, felt this rebirthing and felt ayahuasca tell me, hey, we need to get you cleansed a little bit. Let's cleanse you before you go and speak with your mom. And I'm calling out through my heart to her and I'm laying there. I was like, okay, where would my mom be? And one of my most profound memories of my mom was seeing her almost die in a sweat lodge, trying to purge the cancer from her body. And so I was like, my mom loves heat. I looked out from the bed I was laying in, I could see the fire, and I was like, oh, that's where she is. So I went and sat out there, and I just sat down and I prayed, and I was far enough away from the fire that I couldn't feel the fire. And I was just washed over with warmth and could just feel her. And I just sat there and cried for, I don't know how long. And we just sat there together. It was beautiful. And then Yahweh, I didn't know that it was going to happen again, but the blessing that everyone receives, that was the most miraculous moment in my life, receiving that blessing. And this beautiful angel came, and she's blessing me, and I'm seeing her. And then I close my eyes and I go into a lucid dream state, and my mom is giving me the blessing. And that's where I actually got to speak with her, and she got to tell me that she's proud of me and that she loves me, and she sees the journey that I've been on. And I cried and cried.
To cry.
And cried. It's taken everything to not just lose it right now. So received that miracle, and they just kept coming. Forgiveness, finding humility, finding my voice. Like, this is something that probably prior to coming to this, I would have had a challenge. It would have been more of a challenge to do this, to be able to just speak clearly and speak from my heart and speak with authenticity. They just never stopped. Just never stopped. Yeah.
But I really want to highlight is, while there were some things, there's always stuff to work on. Life was really good.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't come here out of like, life's in crisis, you came solid, and it was like a whole other level for you.
I got stuff that I didn't even know I needed and or wanted. Everybody wants abundance, right? And it's something that I've been striving for a long time. And the vibration that ayahuasca has raised me to puts me in a place where I know, with the knowing now, the abundance that I can create so that I can spoil people and I can bless people and I can be more generous. Forgiveness was a really big thing. I've had a hard relationship with my father and with some of my family, and going through the divorce, a lot of really hard stuff happened, and it closed my heart off. And I went to a space of like, I don't know if I'm going to talk to those people. I'm going to stay away. I called my dad this morning. I sent my stepmom love. I called my ex-wife this morning and told her that I would love to sponsor her to come here, because this was actually somewhere that we had talked about coming to a long time ago. And so I felt like ayahuasca guided me to heal. My heart had been healed. I'd reconnected to my soul, but now this was like going through and stitching up all the little tiny cracks that still needed to be filled before my heart could be its truest, purest form. Yeah.
Like those, that forgiveness, right? That like releasing a particular point of view, frame, or perspective that I'll speak for myself, that keeps me separate, and when I finally can just let go, unhook from the story.
Oh, yes.
And just go to I'm letting go. And forgiveness, such a powerful thing, but we get there in our time. We get there when we're ready to get there.
And that's a very hard lesson for me, being a coach, being an extremist, being someone who typically pushes as hard as I can. And I'm so grateful for it, because it brought me to where I am today. But I'm now able to let go and push, but be gentle with myself is such a great lesson for me.
So this is a great time to talk a little bit about like what you do and where you live. And so where do you live?
I live in Utah.
Okay.
Yep. Mountains. You never been to Utah? Go to Utah and climb the mountains.
Yeah, it's beautiful there. I agree. We talked yesterday that I'll be there.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to go on a hike.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're a coach.
Yes. So I've been coaching for about 12 years. It started with just your typical personal trainer. Got into fitness. That took me to mindset. That took me to nutrition. And then when I healed myself, the biggest healer there is going to be your spirituality, right? If you don't have a belief in a higher power, if you don't have that connection to spirit, to God, to whatever you believe in, you can't be whole. And so once I found that, and I found wellness, I found breath, I found medicine, I found all the beautiful healing modalities, meditation, EFT, journaling, mirror work, whatever it might be, and became a master of those things. And so I now call myself a holistic health and wellness coach. Take care of people's mind, body, and spirit, and reignite your inner light so we can just shine bright.
And what message did you get about your practice, about your your practice, meaning your coaching?
My coaching business?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, what's going to change for you in terms of this holistic wellness coaching after your experience with ayahuasca?
something that's coming to mind that I've thought about when I'm going to see my people and my clients, my friends, my family, is to see them for who they are now. Because again, being a coach, I push people, and that can be a hard thing for me to find the balance of pushing someone while loving someone. And now I feel like I'm going to have the ability to love people softer, but still help them grow and see them for who they are and where they need to go, versus like, okay, I see you, but you're not good enough and you need to do 10 different things. Like, you're good enough now as you are now, but let's still grow and get better, just because life is so much better when you continue to grow. So recap, I think it's going to help me be softer with my clients, with my people, because I'm now being significantly softer with myself.
Yeah. Man, acceptance.
Oh, 100%.
Is the biggest healer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that piece around, there's nothing broken, nothing to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of the irony of self-help, of coaching, of a retreat, right? Like, you're perfect just as you are, but come to this retreat, read my book, take my class, do my workshop, and you'll be better. Right? It's like all of us are, and yet what I've come to is that it's this idea that there's something inherently whole about us, and that never changes. But we get stuff kind of glommed on, right? Like the grit and grime of the journey.
Oh, I agree.
And that's the stuff that gets to be excavated. To find, it's like we don't have to become anything new. We just have to uncover all the stuff. We have to clear away all the stuff that we're not.
Very true.
The stories, the limiting beliefs, the things that we learned about how we get our needs met, about how we stay safe, all of those things. So that right there, what you just said, right? Like, seeing my clients as perfect, whole, and complete as they are. And that's revolutionary. Right? That's Carl Jung said that acceptance is the only thing that heals. And I've come to believe the truth of that. So, okay. So you're going back to Utah, lit up for your clients, ready to take things to the next level. Now, our miracle, Arrhythmia, is kind of codified as show me who I've become, merge with my soul, heal my heart.
Great intentions.
And you've, like you said, you've done a lot of work before. Do you feel like you saw another aspect of who you'd become here, or did it just confirm what you already knew?
Great question. So yeah, coming in, I knew who I was. I had merged with my soul through medicine in the past and through breath work. And I just thought it was the heart. But then once I healed my heart on day 2 and I went to the divine feminine on the third day, after I connected with my mom, I had my intuition telling me, to connect with your mom, you're going to need to suffer. And I was like, why? I don't understand that. My mom threw in a tremendous amount of suffering, and I thought that it was going to be like a rite of passage, getting to see her. I'm not sure, but I did. After that, I started suffering, and I could not figure out why. And everybody who comes will see this. When you're in the Maloka and you're going to the bathroom and you're in there suffering, and you look up on the wall and there's those 4 questions, those changed my life. I was sitting there and I was like, how do I feel? How do I feel? How do I feel? And I was like, I feel afraid to let go of my suffering.
Bam.
And so I went to the next question. When do I feel like that? Do I feel like that in my regular life? And I lived in a tremendous amount of fear. I had a ton of fear as a child. My mom died. And I fear controlled my life for the first 25 years of my life. And I went into a place of eradicating my fear. If something made me afraid, I dove into it head first, which worked, but it also, it wasn't gentle on my inner child. And I've learned that now. But so I was like, oh, I still have some fear. And the third question, please don't tell me, how do you feel? Does this happen in your regular life? When's the first time you remember feeling that way? And I went back to being trapped in the closet, which I think I told you a little about.
Oh God, could I tell you about being in the closet? Sorry, wrong closet. Go ahead.
I told you about being locked in the dark closet a lot as a child. Did I share that story? Oh, so a therapist who I'd like to think was doing his best told my mom. So my mom and dad got divorced when I was 1. Met my stepdad when I was like 3 or 4. So for 2 or 3 years there, a therapist told my mom to help deal with my anger as a child, that I should be locked in the dark closet when I was angry.
Wow.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time locked in a dark closet.
Oh my God.
And so I went back to that moment. I was like, that's the first time I remember being afraid, is being in that closet. And the next question is, who has that made you today? And And I was like, oh, someone who still lets fear take the wheel sometimes. And the second I said that out loud, or to myself or out loud, the suffering stopped and I purged. And I hadn't been able to purge for a couple of hours, just going through this repetitive cycle of like, why am I stuck here? So that showed me a deeper level of who I'd become, even though I knew that I needed to be shown again. And I sat in that bathroom for, I don't know how long, and just kept going through every emotion that I was feeling and doing that same process. And so I got to know myself deeper, which resulted in a more profound connection to the soul that I had already reignited. It just solidified that connection even more. So I didn't think I needed that, but I did. Yeah.
I love that because, tell me if this resonates with you or not, but it feels to me like you felt the fear.
Oh, yes.
And that maybe before it was an intellectual understanding, but this was like visceral.
Yes. And that's you guys saying not to be in the mind, but to be in the body and to feel, which was hard for me. And so the second I felt it, and then I could process it.
And then purge.
Like instantaneously, because I had tried to throw up. And at some point, please remind me, I'd like to talk about prep and how it equates to not having to suffer as much. But I had tried to throw up. I had tried to use the restroom. Nothing was happening. And the second I said that, and I've been sitting there, like not trying to force because I don't want to push hard and hurt myself. I was just sitting there and then gone, cleared out of me instantly.
It's amazing the resistance, right? And I love the Buddha saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And that like, it was like, well, it's so simple. Oh yeah, resistance causes suffering. We didn't even realize that we were resisting. You know,
I had no idea.
I didn't even realize I was resisting this fear. It's so deeply ingrained. It's like the glasses that I'm looking through. I'm not really conscious that I'm looking through glasses. I'm just looking through them.
Right.
And that's sort of like these ingrained patterns that the medicine really helps us feel. I mean, it's another beautiful thing I think about Rythmia is, it's not just the medicine, but it's the container.
This space is sacred. That Maloka to me it is a temple. That container holds healing and miracles and love and joy. So 100%, like I can go do ayahuasca in Salt Lake City if I wanted to, right? But you can't get the container anywhere else but here.
I couldn't agree more. Like it's powerful to do a weekend ceremony or to go do those things, but to retreat from life completely for a week and have this, not just the ceremonies, but the classes and the intentions and a place that, has served, wow, we've got over 18,000 guests, 4 ceremonies per guest. There's, I don't know, 75 something thousand ceremonies, like it's a lot of medicine.
100%.
And like you said, that Maloka, this place carries the signature of 18,000 plus people healing.
Yeah.
And there's this resonant vibration. Did you feel something when you walked on property?
Yes. Since going through my I call it a spiritual awakening, that's how it felt. Prior to that, I was an atheist. I didn't believe in anything particularly. I was just mad at anything that there was, right? If there was a God, I didn't like it. But since going through that awakening and being sensitive to vibrations and frequencies, just even getting close to that space, you can feel its vibration. It is so profoundly powerful. Yeah.
You wanted to talk about prep.
Yes, I did want to talk about prep.
What would you like to share?
So being in the Maloka and especially my first night, and I would like to preface, the medicine was so gentle with me, so very gentle. And I came in and people were telling me, oh, you're going to suffer. This is going to be like the hardest week of your life. And I didn't take it on. I was like, no, I'm intentional. This is going to be beautiful. But the first night I was able to observe a lot more because the medicine introduced itself to me. I did not get drunk on the medicine and I just kind of sat there and just watched, and people suffered. I saw people purge for a long time. And when I did get to my purge, so I threw up 3 times over the entire course of the experience. And people talk about being on the toilet and almost like lifting themselves off the toilet. It was so aggressive. Mine just felt like nice, healthy bowel movements. So I don't think I technically purged from the back end, right? And I think you talked about it where you said, if this is where you vibrate, and grandmother ayahuasca's here. When you take the medicine, you can't just jump to her vibration, right? You have to cleanse all of that before you get there. And that's the purge in my eyes. So if you are very intentional with your prep and come here with as clean of a vessel as you can and the highest vibration that you can, you take that medicine and your purges and you're there. And that's how it felt for me every night. And so being very intentional with everything that I consume, which I taught from my mom, which I learned from my mom, my mom would read the lyrics of music when I was a child before I put it on my iPod to make sure that it was fueling my soul. Like that level of intention that I carry now.
Yeah.
Going into my prep with that, I came here and aside from that block of suffering where I just had to learn to feel my emotions, I did not suffer at all. Even people, Yahe, 14 hours in ceremony. I wish that was a 24-hour ceremony because it was so beautiful for me. So that would be my biggest recommendation to anybody is take your prep serious, with intention, with reverence, and you can come here and you can get a lot of miracles.
Yeah.
A lot of miracles.
I would say that's a great recommendation.
Yeah.
And, I think of Jerry's story. He came to the medicine and drank like from the Philippines to LA and LA to Costa Rica,
Yep.
Showed up, messed up.
True.
And there's definitely, like you said, you have to raise your vibration by purging out the things that are lowering your vibration.
Right.
And so it makes, that's why we offer the guidance on prep. That's an important piece. And the medicine always meets you right where you're at. It always gives you just what you need.
Right.
But yeah, drinking a bunch of red wine and having a steak the night before, you're going to suffer a little bit more for sure.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Do it the easy way or the hard way, but you're going to get there.
Yeah, very, very true. And I will say, there is beauty in the suffering. I asked on the final day to suffer because the contrast is just profound, right? And my mom left me a journal with her passing. You want to talk about discipline and extremism. One of the ways that my mom tried to beat her cancer is she did a 42-day beet juice fast. She only consumed beet juice for 42 days. She went from weighing like 130 pounds to being under 80 pounds. It almost killed her. And she journaled every day. And then she left that to me with a letter of like, if I am to pass, here's these things I want you to know. And she writes a lot about contrast in there because she had a very similar story to me. Hard childhood, loss, trauma, and then even through being sick, most joyful person I've ever known. And so I love contrast. And so feeling the suffering. So if you come in and the medicine meets where you at and you suffer, own it, baby. Be in it. Sit with it. Because man, when you get through it, it's like you take your first breath, you're seeing for the first time, reborn, and there's tangible joy in everything that you get to experience on the other side of that suffering. Yeah.
And I think one of the big questions that we teach here and Reverend Michael teaches is, how is this happening for me? So even in the suffering, even in the challenge, it's like, I can't see how this is happening for me, but let me see it. This is because I know it is.
Yeah.
I might not be able to see it now, but everything works together for our good. Brother, anything you want to say, any final words, anything that you would say to anybody or what you want to share?
Yeah. Let's see here. First, if you feel the call, do whatever you can to get here, right? Divine timing, everything happens when it's meant to happen. But having now experienced this, man, if I could have been here 4 years ago, where would I be with my life right now, right? So don't wait, act. Don't think, drink, just take the medicine, baby, right? Get here when you can, get it here as soon as you can. Come with intentions. Intentions are very important. You guys offer beautiful intentions, right? But still having some of your own intentions that you're sitting with and working with prior to coming here was really big for me. Audio journaling. I think I've recorded 2 hours of audio journaling in the week that I've been here.
Wow.
Because I love to write, but I don't always have the time to sit there. Like if I try to write out what 50 minutes of audio journaling would be, no way. So audio journaling was huge.
That's great. I love that.
Be open and make friends. I have made lifelong friends from this place. please just talk to people, open yourself up, right? Again, it's a lesson that you're going to learn with the medicine, to open up and surrender. So when you get here, be the first person to say hello, to make a friend, right? That's a superpower that I've always had, of making friends. So I can walk right up to somebody. Hi, I'm Coleman. What's your name? Let me talk to you. So make friends and just have faith that you will have a beautiful, beautiful, profound experience here.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. It's my goal now to bring people here. That's my goal. I want to bring as many people here that can come with me and just share this medicine. This is a beautiful place, and I'm very grateful to be here.
I'm grateful you're here.
Yeah,
man.
I'm so grateful I met you. I met another friend. Another
Totally.
friend. Yes,
Totally.
another friend.
Thank you so much for sharing
Of course.
today. Thank you all for joining us. Blessings. I'll see you next week for I Got My Miracle, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your weekend.
Oh.
Aho. All right, we're going to